I'm going to read from preliminary hearing, page 271, lines 2 to 4.
What purpose is this for?
Impeachment, you just said, don't pull that.
And it would be, it's not impeachment, it would be refreshal.
Okay, refresh.
Well, just volume 1 or volume 2?
Volume
What's the page?
Page 271, Your Honor, lines 2 through 4.
Did you just take the floor to testify?
Sir, yes, of course.
What lines?
2 through 4.
Very good.
So, ASAP Rocky's lawyer just said we're going to impeach him, so this ought to be an interesting day. The prosecution did bring up a good... let's just get to it.
after the shooting. And we talked about up until, when you collected that video, you initially believed that that was Mr. Efron, correct?
Correct.
And the last question posed to you was, as you sit here today with the information that you know from his text messages, comparing his clothing, the timestamp on the text message, on the photograph, are you still of the opinion, or do you still believe that that is Mr. Efron?
I do.
Okay. During the entirety of the search at the defendant's home, did you personally observe any fake guns, prop guns, or starter guns?
I did not, and nothing to that description was pointed out to me or identified during the search.
During the search, did you observe any ammunition or a prop gun, a fake gun, or a starter gun?
No, I did not, and along the same lines, nothing was identified to me by any other member of the search team.
When it related to this case, were you first made aware that there was an allegation that the gun used at the scene was a prop gun, a fake gun, or a starter pistol?
Objection.
What's hold on.
He was made aware.
Overall.
You can answer, Detective. So when related to this investigation was the first time that you were made aware the allegation that the gun used at the scene was a prop gun, a fake gun, or a starter pistol?
I believe it was last Monday, which was the 20th, I have to look at my calendar, but it was Monday when you called to let me know, and I was made aware that that was what was.
Okay, when you say the Monday, would it have been around when jury selection started in this case, or was there already evidence being presented?
That was when, right during jury selection.
Okay, around the 20th, would that sound about right to you?
Yes.
Of January?
Right.
And we're talking about 2025.
2025.
I don't have anything else in here.
This would probably be a good time to take breaks. All right, folks, the clock has been...
Or we could break that down and literally say, that was pretty good by the prosecution that y'all said. He searched the house. He didn't find any prop guns. The only way that you could combat that would be is if the defense was able to say, you guys didn't fully go through the house and search all the boxes and stuff like that. What if they did pull that off? Yeah, check out this one right here.
This is W. York?
Yes, W.
Okay. That's one of the photos you see. Things packed in cardboard boxes there.
Correct.
Did you learn whether or not Mr. Mayor was in the process of a move this morning?
I was not aware of the legal process.
How about the next one is? That would be defense.
X, as an X-ray.
You see those boxes there?
Yes, I did.
By the way, can I go back to the last photo, the W, I think? Those cardboard boxes that you see in this photo, did you search those?
The closed boxes, no.
I'm gonna just, I know you said objects. Those boxes. did you say?
Correct.
Oh, closed boxes.
Yes,
Oh, I
sealed
just said
boxes.
closed, okay, closed. Closed boxes, sealed, okay. So you did not search those?
No.
Okay, next, please. No, the other lessons. Okay, this one too. Did you search any of those bags or boxes there?
I don't recall going through them myself. I know the rooms that were gone through.
I'm sorry?
I did not go through that room myself. I don't recall going through that room, but I know each room was searched by part of the team.
So if that room was searched and those boxes were searched, would there be a report on that?
If there was anything, again, found, relative to the investigation, items that we were highlighted that we're looking to? Yes.
Well, you agree that those sealed boxes obviously weren't searched, correct?
Correct.
All right. The next one, please, which will be defense.
Why as in young?
Wise and Young. Same thing here, Wise and Young, that's what's when that box wasn't searched right there, correct?
Correct.
All right. Next,
C's and zebra.
is Zebra. Those suitcases, were they opened and searched, do you know?
I don't recall specifically from my memory.
Next,
AA, Adam.
AA. Same question, correct? The
Correct.
sealed boxes were not opened and searched, right?
Correct.
All right. Is that it? One more.
BB.
There's a lot of stuff going on. I gotta come up a little bit.
Yes.
A lot of colors and a lot of things there, but any of these sealed boxes that you see in the photo there?
No, sir.
They were not searched.
All right, anything else?
No.
May I say something on the record? Usually my house is not usually that junky. I just want y'all to know that. Let's be clear. You know what I'm saying? That's it.
It was cool. Thank you, and thank you, Lieutenant.
That puts a whole new, that puts a whole new light on the case.
I think what happens with certain prosecutors is they have their niches, right? Their niches, right? And what I observed is during the cross-examination of Wally, prosecution was on fire because they didn't have to go first. But it seems like when you got to go first, that's where it's going to get bad for the defense, because the prosecution going first looks stupid. Y'all didn't search that house in its entirety, and he didn't open up every freaking box. And I know for a fact that once that came out and it was said like that, I know they had to sit there and bite their tongues. Like, I hope he doesn't say, well, then how did you know you did a thorough investigation of the house if you didn't pop every box open to see if there was a prop gun anywhere inside of those? So it wasn't a full damn investigation on the house with the search warrant. They never really do. Ever. They already had their mind made up. And that's exactly what they were going for in today's session of crossing the officer. Because the other previous officer, that was dull. They didn't even really cross him. So let's get on with it. You know, I'm going to pop in, pop out, and give y'all my final synopsis at the end.
2021, law enforcement received 2 9mm Luger shell casings from Mr. Airline.
Correct, per the initial crime report, yes.
Yes. And those shell casings were submitted to the fingerprint analysis lab about 2 weeks later on November 21st, 2020.
I believe that's when they were tested, yes.
You know, familiar that the fingerprints can typically be left behind on bullets when they're touched and loaded in a firearm, right?
There is always a possibility anything that's touched can leave a fingerprint trace behind.
So the answer is yes, they can, right?
Yes, sir.
And the latent print lab, the LA PD latent print lab unit, completed its fingerprint analysis of those 2 shell casings on November 23rd, 2020.
That sounds correct.
All right. And after examining the casings provided by Mr. Efron, law enforcement lifted exactly 0 fingerprints off them, correct?
That's right, 0 prints for the,
So there were no fingerprints of anyone on those shell casings.
that's correct.
On April 20th of 2022, so we're fast forwarding a little bit, you secured a search warrant to obtain DNA swabs for Mr. Mayers.
Correct, that was included in the search warrant for that date that it was executed.
Right. And in order to obtain that search warrant, you swore to a judge that DNA from Mr. Mayers was clearly necessary for analysis for probable cause purposes as well as evidential purposes.
Yes, to include potential evidence that could be in custody or that could be collected at some point during the investigation. A comparison can be made. If any evidence that we have or collect along the way can be compared to.
Correct. And after getting the search warrant for Mr. Mayers' DNA, you took samples of his saliva on April 20th, 2022.
Yes, as part of that arrest, there were samples taken.
Right. And although you affirmed that DNA was clearly necessary as part of the case, law enforcement never submitted anything for DNA analysis in this case.
Correct, we didn't collect or have anything further to compare it to, at least to this point. Correct.
The alleged altercation between Mr. Efron and Mr. Mayers took place on November 6, 2021, around 10:17 p.m.
Yes, sir.
In particular, Mr. Efron claimed he was shot at the corner of East Del Mar and Summer Avenue.
Yes, in that area.
And according to the video footage obtained by you from 1616 East Del Mar, the physical altercation lasted about 25 seconds, that whole thing.
Roughly.
Roughly.
So what he's doing is he's walking them down to show, one, ladies and gentlemen, there's no DNA evidence that will connect them to any shootings or anything like that. So let's get rid of what you would think would connect typical people, which is DNA evidence. There's none there. Let's proceed forward.
Investigation and your review of the videos in this case, after leaving the scene of the altercation at around 10:17, Mr. Efron initially claimed he returned to the scene at around 11:09 p.m. Mr. Efron told you 52 minutes more later he came back to the scene, correct?
I don't recall him saying the exact time, but I do recall him saying roughly within an hour after the initial incident. He returned.
And you got that from watching the videos, correct?
On first review, yes, that's what I believe was consistent.
And I understand your testimony is now changed to say you don't think it's him, but initially you certainly thought that person we saw was him
Yes.
at 11:09, right?
Yes, that was my belief.
Okay. And to you, at least, that was Mr. Efron in the videos,
That was my belief because it was consistent with the time frame that he provided.
right? Was consistent with what Mr. Efron told law enforcement.
Correct. Within the hour estimate.
Okay. And that person, whoever that person was, Mr. Efron initially said it was him, you believe it was him initially, leaves the scene at 11:11 p.m., 2 minutes later.
Roughly.
Jack, the first part of this question seems to back on evidence.
No, it's back in evidence.
All right, stop, read the question back.
It's back in evidence.
All right, stop, read the question back.
And that person, whoever that person was, Mr. Efron initially said it was him. Let me read it again.
I can approach her, I'm trying not to speak in there.
I frankly don't remember this.
You weren't so comfortable, I'm not really, I'm not trying to mislead, but I'm just saying initially he said it was him, that's what my question was. I know now it's changed, both from Mr. Efron and okay. But initially, he said it was him, so whoever that person was, I started my question out with. Who Mr. Efron initially said was him, left the scene 2 minutes later.
I don't know if it's evidence or not. I can't remember every single.
You just said it.
I would change the objection to being argumentative. If he wants to ask, did that person leave within 2 minutes, I have no problem with that. We don't need the argumentative part getting to that question.
You're on, I'm not, hold on a second, I can do this easy. Did Mr. Efron initially say that that was him?
I don't recall if he used those words exactly. I believe he made a comment that may have indicated that, but
Well, for instance, did you were here when he testified at this trial?
correct.
Do you remember when he said at this trial on this jury that he was sure that that was him?
Yes.
Okay. So, just a week ago, or a few days ago, Mr. Efron said that was him, correct?
Correct.
So whoever that person was, that person that Mr. Efron swore it was him to this jury initially, left 2 minutes later.
Roughly within 2 minutes, that person left.
Objection to the prompt, as raised.
Yes.
And to be clear, you observed all the video footage that was recovered in this case.
Yes.
So if that is not, the new position is not Mr. Efron, at least you don't think it's Mr. Efron. Based on your testimony today, you have absolutely no video showing Mr. Efron ever returning to the scene, correct?
Correct.
So Relly goes to a gun range in October. The next thing you know, A comes out and says, well, here we go with this. This being that, oh, I got shot at, but I came to the scene and I was able to find the bullets, the shell cases, pardon me, within 2 minutes. Then it turns out he actually was not the person there on the camera, though he kept on saying he was, but the police are saying he wasn't. So are we going to believe the police, or are we going to believe the dude who provided all the evidence in the case, which he stated in his opening statement? And I'm pretty sure he's going to close with that. Let's go forward.
Amongst the video you reviewed in this case was a body cam footage won by officers at the scene who responded that night, correct?
Correct.
You watched that? Okay.
Yes.
And you are aware, before Mr. Efron or whoever that person was returned to the scene 52 minutes later, law enforcement had arrived.
Yes,
And certainly before, if Mr. Efron returned to the scene, certainly before Mr. Efron returned to the scene, law enforcement had arrived.
correct.
All right. And the police arrived at the scene about 18 minutes after the incident.
Yes, roughly.
Okay.
Hey, yo, you. Can you subscribe and turn on that bell too? Because when you do, you're helping unbiased, independent news.
18 minutes after it ended, these 7 officers were canvassing the area.
Yes, they were walking in and about the area of Selma and this and more.
And you saw them on the video searching the area of the
Yes,
altercation.
adjacent parking lot, yes,
Yeah, using the flashlights,
correct,
looking on the ground. You saw them.
yes.
I know you know this answer, we've been asking that way. You know law enforcement did not cover any casings in this case, correct?
Correct, the officer responding did not find or recover any cases.
No officers ever covered any shell casings on the scene, right?
No, you're asking from the radio call, the officer that responded initially? No.
Yes. Or any other police officer recovered any cases from the scene?
Only the officer at the front desk that, who took the casings.
Yeah, no, my question was from the scene.
Okay, no, not from the scene.
In fact, they didn't locate any sign of shooting, correct?
Correct. Other than the radio call,
But that's a call, and you heard Officer Zizzo testify, I think it's Sergeant Zizzo now, you heard him testify, a lot of people make calls or they can be misinterpreted things, correct? You heard that.
yeah, I mean, there are a lot of reasons, sometimes people are just not, don't stick around after.
But in any event, you'd agree that the officers who arrived 18 minutes later didn't locate any sign of shooting.
That's correct.
And despite that, as shown on the video, after the police left and Mr. Efron returned to the scene, he supposedly located the shell casings by himself without a flashlight within minutes.
I believe he said he used the light on his phone and he located it.
Within minutes.
Yes,
You were in this courtroom when Mr. Efron testified that this individual named 12E had a knife during this incident, right?
yes,
And you're familiar with the summary investigative report related to this case dated August 5th, 2022, sir? Yes?
yes, I am.
And that's a collective sort of prior statements and a summary of the investigation overall.
That is a specifically, that was a filing summary.
And that's what you use to file the case with the district attorney's office.
Correct.
All right. So obviously, in that report, you certainly wouldn't want there to be any accuracies, right?
Correct.
All right.
It as relates to the crime, yes, correct.
That's what relates to the crime.
Yes, sir.
Your name is on that report, right? So it's your job to look for all relevant information, right?
Correct.
So to be clear, you arrested Mr. Mayer without even trying to speak to 12 people.
Sustained.
Let's now move over to the house search that you conducted, okay? So this was on April 21st, you conducted the extensive search of Mr. Mayer's residence, correct?
Yes, April 20th, 2022.
And during the search, aside from what we all saw, and we'll get into that when we ask you about those things, you also saw boxes in his residence, right?
I'm sorry?
Boxes, like cardboard boxes.
Yes,
All right, I'm gonna just show you a picture of these things. Nora, I guess we'll identify them as we go through the new exhibit to each one.
Oh, these have not been marked.
Correct.
All right, your next exhibit is,
I'm gonna read from preliminary hearing, page 271, lines 2 to 4.
What purpose is this, Your Honor?
Impeachment, you just said don't pull that.
It would be, it's not impeachment, it's a refresher.
just volume 1 or volume 2? What's the page?
Page 271, Your Honor, lines 2 through 4.
Is this take the floor to testify?
Sorry, yes, of course.
What lines?
2 through 4.
Fair game.
I'm gonna,
It's fair game.
Your Honor, can I?
Detective,
No.
you were asked by
You
the,
follow it up if you want.
did you ever ask Mr. Efron if he had firearms back in 2021? Answer, not specifically. Now, you were here the other day when it was revealed that Mr. Efron was on a firing range in Los Angeles in October, late October 2021, correct?
correct.
By the where the search of the house had 21 officers, more or less.
More or less.
When you spoke to Mr. Efron on November 9th, 2021, Mr. Efron told you that he believed he was grazed on his left hand knuckle area.
Object seems facts and evidence, not talk to me.
I'm sorry? He did not lie?
You have to inquire whether he said that. You're saying when the detective spoke to him, it assumes that that's what Efron says. So ask him if Efron said that.
Okay, this is close.
I know.
Okay. So on November 9th, 2021, did Mr. Efron tell you that he believed he was grazed on his left knuckle area?
Yes.
And despite supposedly being grazed by a bullet on November 6, 2021, Mr. Efron did not seek medical attention until returning to New York.
That's my understanding, yes.
And even though Mr. Efron waited to fly across country to receive medical treatment, obviously there are hospitals in Los Angeles that could have treated him, this injury, whatever it was.
Yes, sir.
Fact is, Mr. Efron only went to the hospital after Detective Menifee on November 9, 2021, during a phone call, told him that he needs to go get medical attention and medically treated because of the type of case that this is, correct?
Objection calls for speculation.
Okay, Your Honor, there's tape in evidence that I'll play a portion of.
No. Let's understand this. Here's what I really believe happened. I don't believe it was a starter gun or prop pistol, no nothing like that. But then again, I could be persuaded to believe it was, because where are any damages from any bullets that were fired? Like, nobody reported anything. Zero, none, nada. So you have no shell casings, and then you literally have better probable cause from October when he could just say, dang, I only have 2 shells. So there's that. Relly actually might have got lucky with the 2 shells thing, because he still kept on screaming it was 3 to 4 shots. All right. Now, cops coming out and looking and all this stuff and everything like that for bullet fragments and objects damaged by bullets, and they're doing a thorough investigation and scanning and all of this stuff. And lo and behold, this guy with a regular flashlight from a phone, not them flashlights, if you ever been pulled over by the police, you know how bright, how half a sun it feel like it's glaring in your eyeballs when the police pull you over at nighttime with them doggone lights flashing in your face. They light up the whole entire car and half the freeway if you get pulled over on the freeway or the street. So I don't believe that happened. I believe Relly already had some freaking shells, and the shells that they had and the shells was in the house do not match up any doggone ways. Then y'all waited 5 months to essentially go with this case, to proceed to go ahead and charge A$AP Rocky. That's a big problem. So you have that. And then with Relly basically being your only person to say he was there and he wasn't there, that's an issue. It's too many things that's reliant upon a person who is not trustworthy, who probably should have, one, not have really been on the stand, but I understand why he had to do it. You got caught lying on your recordings. You said that that those calls were faked and all of this stuff, and luckily the state was able to spin it a little bit and basically say that. But it's even more interesting how Relly act like he didn't know what a gun was, but then told the officers, oh yeah, it was a semi-automatic, it was a Glock, it was a 9mm. Whoa, Rambo, you just told us a couple days ago you didn't know what type of gun it was, but now you're saying, oh yeah, you do? Huh. Then you swapped clothes. That's what you said. But it looked like your ass been wearing the same clothes on the stand for the last 5 days when we seen you. So it's just something hard about this to believe. If Rocky did it, then hey, bro, you dumb and stupid, and whatever happens to you deserves to happen to you. But right now, as it stands, it don't look like nothing gonna happen to him. Now he might lose the civil suit, because it's easier for him to win the civil suit than it is the actual lawsuit than the criminal case. That's what I meant to say. The criminal case versus the civil case. Yeah, but there's something that happened too. And shout out to I'm Not a Lawyer, but she put it out that the lawyers that were there initially for Relly, yeah, they walked out to court on the 4th day or the 5th day of him testifying, which means they might be dropping him like a bad habit. And if your lawyers are leaving while you're testifying, that's going to be all bad, because all they need to do is rattle your little cage, Birdie, piss you off, and nobody will believe you. See, when you're right, you pound the facts. When you're wrong, you pound the table. That's what it seemed like Relly was doing. And it didn't bode well for him. But y'all let me know your thoughts. I know I'm a day late for y'all, but I wanted to, because it's so short and there's so many nuggets in there that you want to pull every freaking thing out just so I can give y'all stuff that I don't think anybody else did. And if they did, I don't watch their content anyways, with no disrespect to anybody. Shout out to AV, I watch her stuff. But if I jack her stuff, then y'all know I'm going to let it be known. But other than that, bruh, yeah, nah, can't step this one, bruh. That bombshell that he just dropped today, basically saying that Relly was never there. Relly returned with a girl, but that wasn't what was shown on the freaking... It looked like the dude was by himself, basically, is what they're saying. Yeah, really, it's all bad, bruh. If I'm A$AP Rocky, I'm hitting the Billie Jean on the stage next time I'm up there. I'm just going to be honest with you. I don't know why he had to tell everybody, for the record, his house is not that junky. Yes, it is. Yes, the hell it is. Or it wouldn't have been like that. Catch your damn line out.